May it please your honor, I, Lakshmi Rahamat, in association with Ms. Jaya Manikchan and Ms. Prathima Kisoon, do hereby present respectfully to the court the application on behalf of Mr. Wendell Blanhum to be admitted to practice law in the courts of Guyana. With your honor's leave, it is my honor this morning to make submissions to the honorable court in favor of Mr. Wendell Blanhum, who possesses all the necessary criteria required under the Legal Practitioners Act, Chapter 4:1, for the admission to practice law as an attorney at law in the courts in Guyana.
Yes, Ms. Rahamat, you may proceed with your submissions.
Grateful, please, your honor. Mr. Wendell Blanhum, the humble applicant before the court, was born on the 14th of July, 1980. Mr. Wendell Blanham, a sister citizen of Guyana, completed his primary and secondary education, and at the tender age of 18 years old, left the home of his mother to join the rank and file of the Guyana Police Force. He has had a service to the nation as a police officer for over 24 years, please you, madam. And during those 24 years, he ascended the ranks from a constable all the way, now, please you, madam, to the rank of an assistant commissioner of police. During the course of his tenure as a police officer in the Guyana Police Force, he has served in many command positions. Most notably of those, please you, madam, was in the year 2015, when he was appointed as the youngest crime chief in the history of the Guyana Police Force to head the Criminal Investigation Department, a position which he still currently holds as his application is pending before this honorable court. Mr. Wendell Blanhum not only separated himself from the ranks within the force, please you, madam, but from a very early stage when he first entered the Criminal Investigation Department, he was recognized as the best graduating student in the Criminal Investigation Induction course and the Junior Investigation Induction courses. Having been graduated as the best graduating student within those particular courses, please you, madam, he quickly ascended to the head of the Criminal Investigation Department within the Guyana Police Force. Most notably, he was awarded a high commendation for his excellent leadership abilities, unrelenting dedication, due diligence, and discipline in building capacity and providing leadership in the Criminal Investigation Department in the year 2006. In addition, please you, madam, to his stellar performance during the course of his service to the nation as a police officer, Mr. Wendell Blanhum excelled academically. His academic pursuits commenced at the University of Guyana in the year 2004, where he read for and attained a diploma in public administration. In the year 2006, he proceeded, please you, madam, to commence to read for a degree in public management and graduated from the University of Guyana with credit from that course. He then went on in the year 2009 to pursue a postgraduate diploma in developmental studies at the University of Guyana, and he was again successful at that endeavor. In the year 2013, please you, madam, Wendell Blanhum read for his master's in public administration, which is a Commonwealth Master's offered at the University of Guyana, and yet again, he excelled in his performance there. Thereafter, please you, madam, in the year 2018, he commenced his studies at the University of Guyana, endeavoring to read for the law degree, that is the LLB program at the University of Guyana. And he again distinguished himself by graduating that program with distinction, please you, madam, and onwards was accepted to the Hewitting Law School to read for his legal education certificate, which he successfully completed and was awarded on the 16th of September, 2022. A copy of same, Madam, is here to attach and exhibited to the application filed on behalf of Mr. Wendell Blanhum. Mr. Wendell Blanham not only possesses the academic qualifications, he is an all-rounder, please you, Madam. And as based on the foregoing points highlighted in his illustrious career thus far, it is the humble application on behalf of the applicant that this honorable court grants his petition for him to practice law in the courts of Guyana. As, please you, Madam, he possesses all the criteria. Should Madam favorably grant this application that is pending today, before I take my seat, I wish to impart one paragraph on the attorney at law in waiting, with your honor's leave. I wish to say, please, Mr. Wendell Blanham, that the purpose of law in society is to preserve the moral sanctity that binds society. Therefore, the legal profession is considered a noble profession. It is the upholder and the protector of the law. It is a service-oriented profession which aims to serve society. Roscoe Pound captured the essence of the sentiments when he wrote, historically, there are three ideas involved in the profession: organization, learning, and a spirit of public service. These are essentials. The remaining idea, that of gaining a livelihood, is simply incidental. But Mr. Wendell Blanham, who for the past 24 years has offered service to his country, is someone who has already exhibited that these ideals of the legal profession are something that Wendell Blanham is going to, please you, Madam, uphold and practice should he be admitted to practice law in the country. Respectfully, please you, Madam, that is the extent of my application in association with Ms. Prathima Kisoon and Ms. Jai Manikchan on behalf of Mr. Wendell Blanham to practice law in Guyana. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Ms. Muhammad. I have heard your submissions eloquently made, and the application is granted for Mr. Wendell Blanham to practice in the courts of Guyana, and he can now take the oath.
We're most grateful, Madam. Thank you.
I, Wendell Blanham, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Guyana according to the best of my learning and knowledge in the law. And I will truly counsel and advise them that retain me according to the best of my skill, and I will not defer, protract, or delay their cause willingly for lucre or hope of reward. So help me God.
Ms. Rahamat, Ms. Kisoon, other counsel at the bar, Commissioner of Police, officers and ranks of the Guyana Police Force, and of other law enforcement agencies, as I do see others here, family, friends, and well-wishers. Today is an auspicious day, not only in the life of the applicant, now attorney at law, admitted to practice in the courts of Guyana, but also for the Guyana Police Force. I want to commend the force firstly for giving the opportunity to Mr. Blanham to pursue another important event in his life's journey. Let me say congratulations to Mr. Blanhum on achieving this particular milestone. I want to say to you, Attorney at Law Blanham, that serving as you have in a distinguished manner in the Guyana Police Force will serve you in good stead as an attorney at law. However, an attorney at law has a totally different mindset to that of a police officer. And I'm sure Ms. Rahamat can attest to that fact. I say that because, and you as head of the Criminal Investigation Department would appreciate that how you investigate must feed in to how what could potentially be a prosecution. But how we think of a case as a police officer tends to be very different from how we would think of a case as a lawyer. And I say that I've, of course, never been a police officer, but having interacted with members of the Guyana Police Force for 14 years in my previous life as a prosecutor, I do appreciate how you think, how you address matters, and how you go forward in terms of your professional duties as a police officer. But you're now not just a police officer, you are an officer of the court. That carries tremendous responsibilities to uphold the traditions of our noble profession, tremendous responsibilities to uphold the ethics of our noble profession. And those traditions are different from those of a police officer, noble as the profession of being a police officer is. The application that was filed, and based on the submissions, as I said so eloquently made by Ms. Rahamat on your behalf, they disclose very high academic achievement. The career that you embarked on, starting as a constable and now as Assistant Commissioner of Police, displays or demonstrates diligence, perseverance, commitment to excellence. That is what you will need going forward from today. All of you have done clearly has established an excellent foundation for the new journey you start today. I would urge you to remain committed to excellence. This job is the job of a police officer, a 24/7, 365 job. I do recall 2 Christmases ago, I think it was, that I got a frantic phone call that someone was in custody due to a judgment summons, a warrant on a judgment summons. Unfortunately, they did have to spend Christmas in custody, but we had to work overnight in a night application in order to address the matter at hand so that they could have been released in time for all years. Your job is 24/7 similarly. But the job of a lawyer, the role of a lawyer, because as Ms. Rahamat said, you are meant to uphold or preserve the moral sanctity of society, the moral sanctity that binds society. You have a lot is expected of you. I have no doubt that you would live up to the high expectations, not only that you set yourself by your career so far, but that the profession will require of you. I expect that honesty, integrity, frankness with the court will be the hallmarks of all that you do. There have been some instances, and I'll be brutally truthful, there have been some instances where Officers have presented evidence that the court has found to be less, for which the court is found to be less than frank. You now are in a leadership position, not only just as as crime chief, you are in a leadership position as attorney at law. Therefore, the courts will expect a very high standard from you and the officers and ranks that you lead, because we know that you have the training. We now know that you have the expertise, and therefore we're not going to accept, at least I am not going to accept, that the rank didn't know, didn't understand, and that there is ignorance of the law, which of course we know is no excuse. You as the leader have to be out in front. When, I'll be a bit pejorative here, when the buffing starts from the court, we're not going to only look at Mr. Moore as the police legal advisor. We will not only be looking at the officers and ranks. We will see you. But I know you are up to the task. I know that you will live up to the expectations. Your track record says that from what is in the application. So I look forward to seeing the applications with your name on it as attorney at law, well structured, well presented. You will guide your officers and ranks. The Commissioner of Police, I see he's smiling very broadly. You will guide them. Yes, mistakes will be made. We all make mistakes. Yes, things will not always work out the way you might have expected. But because of your obligations and duty to the court, we know you'll bring things back on even keel. And I know, I'm confident that you will do your best, and that you will do your best at all times. Congratulations to you and to your family and to all who have supported you in this journey to today. And I want to say to them, your work has not ended today. Mr. Blanhum will need a lot of support going forward to continue in the manner that he has, based on all that I have seen in his application and all that has been presented by Ms. Rahamat. Congratulations, sir, and over to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please, Your Honor, I'm respectfully grateful to Your Honor for both hearing and granting my application to practice law in the courts of Guyana. Special invited guests, family, and friends, I'm indeed honored by your presence here today to witness the fulfillment of my childhood dream of becoming an attorney at law. This was indeed a challenging but rewarding journey with detours that took me into the rank and file of the Guyana Police Force for more than 24 years. Now, it is indeed a culture of discipline, hard work, commitment, and dedication, which are the hallmarks and traits promoted, learned, and adopted by members of the discipline services that provided a solid foundation upon which I commenced my legal studies some 5 years ago. I stand before you here today to say I'm the living proof that it is never too late to follow your dreams. This journey was not possible without the love and support from my dear wife, confidant, soulmate, best friend, and last but not least, now my senior in the legal profession, attorney at law, Ms. Lakshmi Rahamat. It would be remiss of me not to give recognition to you as a person who revived and reignited that boyhood dream of becoming an attorney at law that I had forgotten years ago while I pursued and excelled in my policing career. I must express my gratitude to you for presenting my petition to be admitted in the courts of Guyana. I thank you dearly. I also wish to thank my beautiful daughter, Zara Lana Blanham, who's somewhere at the back, for always ensuring that I'm awake at 2 a.m. every morning, inclusive of Sundays, Saturdays, holidays, with our loud cries reminding me that it's time to feed her and time to study. I did not need an alarm clock during my journey. Zara was always there for me. I also want to thank her for always checking on me. At times when I was attending Zoom classes at home, every 5 minutes, maybe she wanted to ensure that I was focused and paying attention in class. A special thank you is also extended to my firstborn daughter, Alicia Zoe Blanham, for your love and support throughout the years. I also want to thank my mother, my siblings, and other family members for their continued love and support throughout all of my academic pursuits. The dream of me becoming an attorney at law was also a dream of my mother, who had always believed that I would make an excellent attorney at law during my years at primary and secondary school. But upon completion of school, finances proved to be a barrier to pursuing that dream. To my dear friends, Vaughn, Navin, Jack, Wamkar, Riyad, Tasha, Jai, Dennis, Vital, Vikash, and many others too numerous to mention, a great thank you. They were all patiently awaiting 5 years for us to resuscitate our Friday afternoon lines. I wish to extend a special thank you to Ms. Jaya Manichan, attorney at law, who opened her chambers to me during my in-service stint and made sure that I and my colleague, Ms. Ismat Bacchus, worked very hard for every assignment and task given to us. Ms. Manichan, your mentoring has been invaluable. Not forgetting Magistrate Peter Yu and Ms. Pratima Kisun, the public trustee, who were always one phone call away when in need for legal guidance. Heartfelt gratitude is also extended to the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Clifton Hicken, and also to Mr. Nigel Hoppy, Ms. May Thomas, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs, for your continued support during my studies at law school, especially for excusing me from meetings so that I could attend classes and write my examinations. And also to the entire hierarchy and management team of the Guyana Police Force, I extend my gratitude for your support over the years. Moreover, as I reflect on my journey, starting with the baptism I received on the first day of class at the University of Guyana Law Program from Ms. Downs Amsterdam, attorney at law, when I arrived fashionably late to her class. I was immediately halted at the door and subjected to intense cross-examination as to who I am and my reasons for pursuing a law degree. And from that day onwards, rest assured, I was always called upon to participate in her class, and this ensured that I was always prepared. Even after transitioning from the LLB program to the LEC program, you can bet your bottom dollar that I would always hear from Ms. Downs Amsterdam. On the date examination results are out with the following words, and I quote, "Waiting patiently to hear the year one good news." And then in the second year, waiting on my annual update. Ms. Amsterdam, Your Honor, was an excellent teacher, and I'm forever indebted to her for truly preparing me for law school. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the following lecturers who would have also positively impacted me during my studies at the LLB program. His Worship the Magistrate, Mr. Delon Bess, and Her Worship the Magistrate, Ms. Annette Singh. Also the late Professor Duke Pollard, former Caribbean Court of Justice judge. Not forgetting Mr. Tierney Hootsie, attorney at law, who underscored the importance to us as having an LLB. Thank you, Mr. Hootsie. We all have LLBs now and also LECs. And also other lecturers, too numerous to mention. Without their guidance, this would not be possible today. I also wish to thank my colleagues, especially Michael Puran, Aruna Bodram, Oral Daniels, Zulfikar Ali, Dominic Wilson, and Alvaro Ramator, who all assisted me with notes and learning materials when I was posted to Region 1, since I could not physically attend all of my classes. Your Honor, many persons in this situation would have given up and quit. However, I was determined to succeed no matter what. The circumstances that presented itself. I was always motivated by the following quote, that, and I quote, "When you shine your own light, dream your own dream, follow your own star, anything is possible." And I made the impossible possible through the help of my colleagues and lecturers who were kind enough to excuse my absence from some of the classes. I also wish to extend gratitude to my fellow officers who were part of the law program, Mr. Calvin Brutus, Mr. Delon Fraser, and Mr. Dominic Best for your unwavering support during our studies. Thank you to my squaddies from the Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Defense Force for the support I have received throughout the years. Not forgetting the late Mr. Michael Monroe and his son, Mr. Michael Monroe Jr., attorney at law, and Mr. Bish Pandey, Mr. Chevy Devonish, Mr. Narish Punai, and last but not least, our very kind and helpful police legal advisor, Mr. Mandel Moore, for that you were instrumental in providing words of encouragement and advice during my journey at law school. Special thank you is also extended to UNICEF and Ms. Pot for granting me a scholarship for the first year of studies at the University of Guyana. Your Honor, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I was delighted to hear that the U Wooden Law School was operating virtually, and therefore I was not required to leave the jurisdiction to pursue my studies. Notwithstanding the above, navigating online classes did not come with a manual. We were all learning as we went along the school year, both students and lecturers alike. And when 24 hours examinations were proposed as a final assessment, they were guaranteed to be robust and comprehensive. This unprecedented method of examination that was deemed robust and comprehensive became something some of my colleagues and I feared because of the number of issues that were raised in the questions which had to be addressed thoroughly, making the examinations seem like 24 hours were not enough to cover all the issues adequately. In the end, we all persevered and were successful. Your Honor, I always give 100% in everything I do. I'm a full-time police officer, a full-time husband, full-time father, and over the last 5 years, a full-time student. As a result, I had several experiences where work and school duties overlapped. Fortunately, I was always able to wear my caps comfortably. One such remarkable experience of overlap that created an indelible impression on my mind was on the day of my civil practice and procedure examination in year 2. Mere hours before this examination, while I was reviewing my notes, I received a distress report from my colleagues that there was an active fire at the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters. And as the head of the CID and the country's serving crime chief, I was duty-bound to visit the scene, assess the situation, and thereafter report to my superiors. Thankfully, my good friend, the Guyana Fire Service Fire Chief, Mr. Gregory Wickham, who did studies with me at UG also, he and his ranks were able to extinguish the fire in a timely manner, which ensured that I didn't lose even an hour of my 24 hours examination. In conclusion, Your Honor, I'm fully aware that the legal profession is a noble profession, and therefore I undertake to conduct myself in a manner that preserves and strengthens the dignity, honor, and ethics of the profession. Unless there is anything further, Your Honor, that I can assist the court with at this time, this is the extent of my address to the Honorable Court. Thank you, Your Honor.
Marshall.
I'm very elated to be admitted to practice as an attorney at law in the courts of Guyana. As I mentioned before the Chief Justice, that this was a childhood dream of mine, and I was able to embark upon the journey of becoming an attorney at law. So I'm very much elated and delighted to be called to the bar on this auspicious occasion, and it's also the same day when my wife had her bar calling also.
In the height of your studies, you were transferred to a remote area in this country as a commander, which affected your ability to adequately attend classes physically and so on. What do you have to say to the persons who facilitated that transfer?
You're correct. In fact, you're partially correct. I was transferred to Region 1 not as a commander. I was transferred as a sub-divisional officer. I later became the commander. To those individuals, I forgive them. I am a gladiator, so to speak. I do not give up. As I mentioned in my speech, every crisis, I try to look at the opportunity, and I always persevere. Being a police officer is not for the faint at heart.
What does this mean now for your work as the crime chief and now being a lawyer?
As a crime chief and as an attorney at law, it's going to benefit me tremendously in my work as the Deputy Commissioner of Law Enforcement. One of my duties entail reviewing crime files, looking at the elements of the offenses to see whether the investigators were able to prove all the elements of the offenses before submitting the files to the police legal advisor or to the Director of Public Prosecution. So this definitely will help me in that regard. And over the years since I started law school, I was very quick to learn the principles of law, and based on my knowledge and skills during my training, I was able to impart that knowledge and skill with my ranks and assist them in every way possible to ensure that we put forward a very good case to the court. Well, as I mentioned, I could recall being posted to Region 1. That was a challenge in itself because you had to complete a certain level of attendance before you can graduate. I was absent from some of the classes. I had some very good lecturers. They excused me for being absent from classes, but I had some very good colleagues who assisted me with learning materials and was able to attend classes whenever I could, and also I was able to write my examinations, and I was very successful at the LLB level. As you're quite aware, I graduated with a distinction. Apart from that, at the LEC level, I had one challenge with regard to the fire at the Criminal Investigation Department. I was preparing for my Criminal Practice and Procedure exam, and I received that distressing call that there was a fire there. I had to pack up my study notes and leave, visit the scene, make an assessment, report to my superior, and then head back to start my examination. So those were the two major challenges that I faced during my studies.
What would you say to other police ranks who may want to pursue a higher education in the force?
I have always encouraged each and every one of my ranks to pursue their academic journey, and I want to let each and every one of them know that every journey will not be smooth. You would encounter some road bumps, but at the end, perseverance is the key. You need to persevere in order for you to succeed. And I'm the epitome of perseverance today. Thank you very much.